following pro wrestling exhibition requires discretionary viewer participation.
Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen of our worldwide viewing audience, wherever you may be. This is RWL Rage, emanating from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania this evening. Our next to last stop in the Keystone State. I'm afraid Tex Lynch was a bit erroneous in his prediction. We won't be leaving Pennsylvania until the end of the month. I'm Don Hickson, and I'm joined by Christy Ogilvie and booking agent Myron Schimmelman. We have 2 hours of RWL Mad Action on tap that you are not going to want to miss.
Hi everybody! Don, there's lots of stuff happening tonight. Some of it pretty unexpected. But one thing we did know was going to happen was the return of Luna Vachon from suspension. And she's going to be in action tonight against Patty Powers, who she blinded with that damn purple haze nearly 3 weeks ago. I'm not expecting Luna to tone down her behavior at all.
You'd be wise to think that, Christy. Hello, everybody. How we doing tonight? Yeah, that's Luna Vachon's back. Patty Powers will be facing her. And you said unexpected. Get a look at unexpected. I got as unexpected as you could possibly get. Our opening contest tonight. Tag team competition with the Headbangers, Thrasher and Marsh, facing, get this, the team of Mad Dog McKay and Karrion Kross, with both their managers at ringside.
Wow, Myron, you're going to have to explain exactly how that came about.
Don't worry, I will.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RWL Rage. Our first tag team match, scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle from the Garden State of New Jersey, at a combined weight of 488 pounds, here are Thrasher and Mosh, the Headbangers.
Wait a minute, Myron. You're really gonna have to give us the 411 on how this match came together. Obviously not just the Headbangers. Kross and McKay as a tag team? Just how? These two were trying to wipe each other out just a month ago. Even their managers got involved in a mixed-gender tag match. How in the fiery pits of hell do they wind up as tag team partners against Thrasher and Mosh? Did you talk them into it?
I didn't talk them into it. Surprise, surprise. It was their own idea.
It's the same thing with Scarlett Bordeaux and Miss Morse X. They were trying to destroy each other too. So Myron, how?
Let Aria finish. I'll explain everything.
Their opponents, first, he's joined at ringside by Scarlett Bordeaux from Las Vegas, Nevada, weighing 243 pounds, Karrion Kross.
Okay, you two, here it is. Let me start by saying nobody was more surprised than me when McKay and Kross walk into the office and say, we're gonna form a tag team. I'm looking at the two of them like they've got 3 heads talking Yiddish. I'm like, I explained to them all the things that you two just said, and McKay says, don't worry about it. That's our problem. That's our responsibility. Kross says, I've decided, hey, if you can't beat them, join them, which made perfect sense to me. And then I told them, look, you guys got these 2 girls at ringside, and they don't get along either. Again, McKay says, don't worry about that. That's our problem. That's our responsibility. We will take care of that. So finally, I said, okay, who do you want to face? I said, I offered them the Toxic Table. They left. They said, no, we need an established tag team, somebody with a history. I said, okay, the Headbangers, Thrasher and Mosh. And so, here we are, guys.
Well, Myron, I'll tell you, we haven't seen an odd couple like this in a long time. Not that it hasn't happened before in RWO. You'll remember Joseph Von Schmidt and American Supreme Matt Clark forming a partnership at the height of their rivalry.
That's right, when they formed the Power Trip way back in 2014. Well, this is definitely an odd couple. Definitely a Felix and Oscar kind of scenario, especially with the 2 ladies at ringside.
And his tag team partner, joined at ringside by Miss Morse X, from Ithaca, New York, weighing 205 pounds, Mad Dog. Mark McKay.
All right, interesting story. But I'd still love to know how they decided, after battering one another all through September, to partner up at all. Weird stuff men will get into over a few beers, I guess. Still, there's the question of will those two actually gel as a team? Cross has a massive ego, and McKay's a bit of a loose cannon type. And as you point out, Myron, the ladies, Scarlett and Morse X, even they had to question the sanity of their respective men. How do you suppose they'll get along at ringside? Will they each favor their man, or will they let the team do whatever it does, without outside intervention? It's fine for the guys to say they'll handle it, but do you think they're gonna pull this off? It'll be the first time we see McKay partner with anyone but Miss Morse X.
So many questions, Christy. Let's just see what happens, for crying out loud.
Unquestionably a most unusual match with unusual circumstances surrounding it. Mosh and Karrion Kross starting things off here. Wow, I just don't believe it. There's the bell. They come center ring. Collar and elbow tie up. Karrion Kross with the upper hand right out of the gate. Beautiful suplex on Mosh, followed up with a stomp to the head. And another. Karrion Kross starting out very aggressively, putting the boots. The headbanger Mosh. Karrion Kross. Oh, here we go. Stamping the hands and fingers, much to the delight of Scarlett Bordeaux at ringside. I can't believe Scarlett Bordeaux and Miss Morse X on the same side at ringside. It just defies all logic. Karrion Kross continuing to stamp the hands of headbanger Mosh. He steps out and turns it over to Mad Dog Mark McKay, and here he comes. A clubbing overhand right from McKay. Mosh whip to the far right corner. A running splash takes Mosh down. And McKay turns it back over to Karrion Kross. I'm not sure if these two have been working on their tag team coordination, but it sure looks that way. Mosh escapes the corner, locks up Kross. Winds up the arm, drops a leg on it. Headbanger Mosh finally beginning to mount some offense here, but a couple of hard right hands. Oh my, what a set of hard rights. Here's a cover from Kross. 1, 2, nope. Mosh finding his way out of the pin to Karrion Kross. Very aggressive here as here comes headbanger Thrasher. Thrasher with a clothesline takes Kross down to the mat. Thrasher with the shoulder. Karrion Kross. Whoa, wow, look at this. Thrasher biting the hand of Karrion Kross. No doubt in retaliation for stamping the hands of Mosh. Kross whipped to the headbanger's corner. A hard right hand from Thrasher. Here's a tag to Mosh. And a set of stereo kicks. A withering set of blows. Forcing Karrion Kross into a seated position. Thrasher with a set of kicks to Karrion Kross. There's a right. Whoa, look at this. Kross puts on the brakes. Locks up Mosh. Sets him up. Butt red suplex. Here's another cover from Kross. 1, 2. But just another near fall. With Mosh escaping. Here comes Mad Dog Mark McKay. And he moves in on Mosh. They lock it up, collar and elbow. Mosh with a neckbreaker on McKay. Mad Dog Mark McKay. Head slammed down to the mat. McKay charges, running DDT. Taking Mosh down. He rolls to the outside and on the wrong side of town. Look at this. Scarlett Bordeaux tried to put the grab on him, and he tried a high-risk maneuver that didn't pay off. Mosh going after Karrion Kross here. But a counter right from Kross and a shoulder tackle from McKay. The team seems to be working pretty efficiently. McKay with a stomp to Mosh. Mad Dog McKay sets up the neckbreaker and nails it. Headbanger Mosh finding himself in some trouble here. All the way up on the top, he changes his mind, turns it over to Karrion Kross. Mosh with a hard right hand takes Karrion Kross down to the mat. He beats it out of town and turns it over to Thrasher. Karrion Kross charges, takes Thrasher down to the canvas almost immediately. Karrion Kross dealing out some of the same punishment he dealt out before, stamping on the hands of his opponent. Karrion Kross with a side suplex to Thrasher. Here's another cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2, and Miss North X cheering on Karrion Kross. I would have never believed it if you hadn't told me. Karrion Kross locks up. Thrasher whips him to the corner. Karrion Kross going to take this one himself. And another suplex. As the headbanger rolls out to the floor, Karrion Kross takes himself to the top turnbuckle, changes his mind about the high-risk maneuver, decides he's going to go after the other headbanger. Hard right hand, takes himself out onto the apron. The referee counting on Mosh here. Down goes Thrasher. Mosh with a clothesline on the outside to Karrion Kross. Kross locked up, being led back to the ring by Mosh, who makes his way back inside. And Karrion Kross. Now, whoa, look at this, a quick tag to Mad Dog Mark McKay. I don't think Mosh has seen it. McKay gets a hold of him, whips him into the corner. Hard right hand from Mad Dog Mark McKay. A counter from Mosh. A charge, a clothesline takes McKay down to the canvas center ring. Mosh with a hard right hand takes McKay down again. Misses with the clubbing overhand right. Gets a hold of McKay. Whips him to the headbanger's corner. Here we go. All the way up on the middle rope, and he is going to start counting. Reigning. Oh, wait a minute. Mad Dog Mark McKay said, "Oh, no, you don't." A hard right spins Mosh around. McKay goes behind. Gets him in a headlock, tags him with a headlock punch. Down he goes. McKay gonna go for the cover here. 1. But only just the one, says referee Tom Kanamura. Mad Dog Mark McKay working the crowd here in Wilkes-Barre. Here comes Thrasher on the tag. He misses with his move, catches a stomp from Mad Dog Mark McKay. Mosh is already still trying to figure it all out. But McKay gonna go after him as well. Whips him to the outside. Both headbangers hitting the floor at the same time. Mad Dog Mark McKay and Karrion Kross. So far a dominant team together. Hard right hand. And another. McKay catching a series of shots from Mosh. Mosh on the outside with McKay. Going to work on him as the referee counts. Hard right hand from McKay. And another. He gets a hold of Mosh. Uh-oh, this is not going to be good. Pile driver on the floor. Oh, man! Would you look at that? He must be out. McKay gathers Mosh up again. Gets him back inside the ring. Goes after Thrasher. Delivers a chop across the chest. Mad Dog Mark McKay, a one-man army over here. Look at this. This is unbelievable. What a pairing between McKay and Karrion Kross. Again, I would not have believed it if you hadn't told me. Mosh going after McKay on the outside. Thrasher takes down Karrion Kross. McKay rolls back inside the ring. Back to a standing position. Tags Mosh with a hard right. Takes him down to the canvas. And winds him up in a Texas Cloverleaf. Thrasher coming to the rescue of his partner. Whoa! Driving knee right into the forehead of Mosh. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2, 3, and call this one done. It is all over. McKay and Kross win their first tag team match together. How about this right here?
Here's the time, 8 minutes and 45 seconds. And your winners, the team of Mad Dog McKay and Karrion Kross.
How'd you like that? They didn't even stumble a little. Dominant from the word go. Hey, I can't believe it either, but there it is. McKay and Kross pick up their first win as a tag team. And hey, nobody's as surprised as I am.
An impressive win for a new tag team partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more RWL Rage right after the break.
RWL Rage continues now on the last edition of Snarl. Wes Lee made his RWL debut against Eason Valek, and he's back tonight on Rage in a non-title matchup with one half of the Rage Tag Champions, Oliver Hollywood.
The next match is scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Approaching the ring from Dayton, Ohio, weighing 190 pounds, here's Wes Lee.
He didn't fare too well against Eason Valek in his debut, but what I will say is that we saw flashes of brilliance, and we'll probably see more in this match with Oliver Hollywood that's likely to be a little bit more competitive.
Yes, sir, Wes Lee, no stranger to success, no stranger to accolades, and no stranger to championship gold. Wes Lee, an established performer in several different promotions, and now here as part of RWL, facing Oliver Hollywood, one of our most seasoned veterans, for the very first time tonight here on Rage.
Yeah, he didn't win against Valek on Snarl, but I still like what I saw from Wes Lee.
So did I. He's definitely got some talent.
His opponent from Los Angeles, California, weighing 204 pounds, one half of the Rage Tag Team Champions, Oliver Hollywood.
Well, we've seen Wilcox and Hollywood competing in both singles and tags lately, and we'll be seeing Tommy Wilcox in a triple threat match a little bit later on, but right now is Oliver Hollywood, the son of Hall of Famer Jeff Mr. Showtime Hollywood, making his way down to the ring for his first time encounter with Wes Lee. And both these guys, high speed, high flying, it's likely to be an excellent cruiserweight match.
Let me tell you, Don, when you've got two talents like that going at it in the ring, there's no way it's going to be a disappointment.
I'm counting on it, Myron. Unsure this is going to be a better match for Wes Lee that is first on Snarl, against an opponent who's all about competition and not some crazy-ass sectarian agenda.
You summed that up very nicely, Chris.
Well, I will say, with Oliver Hollywood being more of a fair play kind of guy, I'm expecting a far more competitive match than Wes Lee had with Eason Valek. Referee Tom Kanamura sounds the bell. They come center ring. Wes Lee opens up with a series of kicks on Hollywood. A hard kick to the back. And Oliver Hollywood quickly rounded back up. A discus punch from Wes Lee takes Hollywood down to the mat again. Wes Lee continuing the attack with another series of withering kicks and down goes Oliver Hollywood again. Wes Lee with a hard shot to the midsection and more kicks. This young man has some educated feet without question. Wes Lee countered by Oliver Hollywood. There's a kick to the midsection, a rebound off the ropes, and an elbow takes down Wes Lee for the first time in the matchup. Lee whipped over the top rope out onto the floor, and he looks hurt. Referee already starting the count as Oliver Hollywood takes it all the way up to the top turnbuckle. Dangerville for sure. And here he comes. Whoa! What a Hurricane Rana from Hollywood. One half of the Rage Tag Team Champions. Whoa! A vicious kick. And a moonsault followed up by Oliver Hollywood. Wes Lee finding himself in difficulties for the first time in this matchup. Oliver Hollywood gets a hold of him, slams his head into the lip of the apron. Hollywood countered and driven into the ring steps by Wes Lee. Lee gathers Hollywood back up, hurls him towards the opposing side of the ring. Woohoo! Hard double axe handle. Out there on the floor as Tom Kanamura continues the count. Again, Oliver Hollywood driven into the ring steps. There's a driving knee into the back of Oliver Hollywood. Wes Lee becoming very aggressive on the outside as the referee continues the count. Oliver Hollywood finding himself in some serious problems here. A head scissor and a series of knocks to the head from Wes Lee to Oliver Hollywood. And I get Hollywood being shown the entire outside of the ring. Wes Lee makes his way back inside. Tom Kanemaru continues to count Oliver Hollywood, who is back standing up and making his way back inside, and he does not look pleased. Over the top rope, Wes Lee locks him up, has him up over the shoulders in a fireman's carry. Head first into the turnbuckle, and down goes Oliver Hollywood. Wes Lee driving both feet into the chest of Hollywood. Wes Lee turns him over and covers. One. Barely just a one. Oliver Hollywood quickly kicking out of the pin. A stomp to the shoulder from Wes Lee. Lee gathers him. Oh, hard shot and a wicked series of kicks and a stomp to the back for good measure. Wes Lee extremely fast. Steps out, steps back in. Rebound off the middle rope, misses with the elbow. Oliver Hollywood deftly stepping out of the way. Hollywood sets him up against the ropes. Wes Lee quickly counters with an elbow, locks up Oliver Hollywood. Hard whip into the far right corner. Whoa, look at this. Whoa! Talk about speed. Oliver Hollywood draped over the middle rope and a little bit of a modified 619 around the corner of the ring. I don't think I've ever seen that done before. Over the top rope senton from Wes Lee, who is really showing a lot more talent than he did in his first matchup with Ethan Valek. A 2 count only as Oliver Hollywood kicks out again. Wes Lee up on the top turnbuckle, calling for it, and whoa! Whoa, he reached halfway across town to get that one. Here's another pin attempt. 1, 2. And the first really true near fall, but Oliver Hollywood getting the right shoulder up. Hollywood slams Wes Lee face first into the canvas by his arm, turns him over, follows it up with a stomp to the leg. Wes Lee counters Oliver Hollywood from a laying position and opens up with that series of kicks again, and inverted Russian leg sweep puts Oliver Hollywood face first into the canvas. Wes Lee up on the top turnbuckle again. A lot of high flying in this matchup. Wes Lee with a missiles drop kick to Oliver Hollywood. And he's going up again. Here he comes. Whoa, another senton. Scrambles in for the pin. 1, 2. You see how quickly he scampered in for that pin. That was fast. Wes Lee drives a knee into the head of Oliver Hollywood. And Hollywood making his way back to a standing position, but a clothesline over the top rope out onto the floor. Wes Lee performing rather impressively in this matchup. Oliver Hollywood laid out, the referee counting. Wes Lee takes himself out to go after Oliver Hollywood. Hollywood puts on the brakes, gets caught from behind, counters with an elbow, goes behind on Wes Lee, and tries to drive him into the ring steps, but Wes Lee quickly putting on the brakes, but he got it the second time around. Oliver Hollywood going to work on a downed Wes Lee on the outside, rallying the troops here in Wilkes-Barre. Drives a knee into the head again. And Wes Lee is starting to lose the momentum that he had built up. Up over the shoulders of Oliver Hollywood, and slammed down to the floor. Hollywood definitely playing games with the ring steps here, while he's waiting for Wes Lee to get himself stood up. Must be some sort of exercise. And Wes Lee has been laid out for a good bit of time here. Finally comes to a standing position. Oliver Hollywood done with his little games. Locks up. Wes Lee hurls him towards the opposing side of the ring. Charges. There's a double axe handle to Wes Lee. Hollywood makes his way back inside the ring and doing quite a little bit of showing off here. Over the top rope. Whoa! Unbelievable. A high-risk maneuver that did finally pay off for Oliver Hollywood. Wes Lee back to a standing position here and driven right into the barricade, almost into our cameraman. Wes Lee Back inside the ring, and whoa, he did not make it, and that looked like it hurt like holy old hell. Moonsault from Oliver Hollywood after the failed high-risk maneuver from Wes Lee. Hollywood gets a hold of him, hurls him towards the opposing side of the ring, makes his own way back inside. Referee Tom Kanamura continuing the count, and here we go again. Oliver Hollywood up on the top turnbuckle with Wes Lee on the outside. More high-risk action coming up. Whoa! Big-time crossbody. Takes Wes Lee down. Hollywood escorting Wes Lee back towards the ring, gets him back inside. Here comes Oliver Hollywood in hot pursuit. And Wes Lee back up to a standing position, and whoa, what a beautiful move here, and a quick pin for the bargain. 1, 2. Again, another near fall in this rather intense cruiserweight matchup so far. Basement DDT from Wes Lee on Oliver Hollywood. Hollywood using the ropes to get himself stood up again. A slap across the chest. And a little game of tug of war with the leg of Oliver Hollywood from Wes Lee. Kick to the midsection from Lee. He's setting him up for something. Oh, man, what a nasty move. Here's another cover from Wes Lee. 1, 2. I was almost convinced that would have been the end. But Oliver Hollywood, somehow, someway, still going. Wes Lee with a snapmare and a kick to the back of Oliver Hollywood, and now Wes Lee gonna go topside. And here we go. Oh, he did not make it. That would have been beautiful had it landed. Oliver Hollywood with a snap suplex, capitalizing on Wes Lee's error. Now Hollywood going topside again. These corners, whoa! Beautiful shooting star. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. And that is going to do it. Oliver Hollywood picking up a win over Wes Lee in an intense cruiserweight matchup.
Here's the time, 9 minutes and 18 seconds. And your winner, Oliver Hollywood.
Again, he didn't win, but we saw what Wes Lee is capable of. And I'm telling you, sooner or later, he's going to make it big around here.
That's what I think too. Wes Lee certainly putting in an impressive performance against Oliver Hollywood despite the loss. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with more RWL Rage right after this.
For the past 10 years, the brawl has come, and each more garish than the previous one. And yet, the things we have passed to see won't compare to this Halloween. Good and evil shall collide, and you are forced to choose a side. Light or dark, the choice is yours. Witness fury, blood, and gore. Who will win? No one can say when the monsters of the ring come out to play. So, come one, come all, who creep and crawl to the 11th annual Halloween Brawl.
Starting Monday, October the 27th.
Up next, as RWL Rage continues, Legends Division Tag. The Grand Wizards pairing of Superstar Billy Graham and Jesse the Body Ventura set to lock it up with the Iron Sheik and Tojo Yamamoto.
This next Legends Division Tag Team match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Approaching the ring, along with the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, at a combined weight of 535 pounds, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Jesse, the Body, Ventura, and from Paradise Valley, Arizona, Superstar, Billy Graham.
The stable of the Grand Wizard of Wrestling never short on talent, and two of his top stars, Jesse Ventura and Superstar Billy Graham, set to lock it up against the Iron Sheik and Tojo Yamamoto, and that is going to be an excellent Legends Division Tag Team matchup.
And the quick look through the record shows neither one of these teams have met before.
You're kidding. I would have thought this was a rematch when you look at all the teams Tojo and the Iron Sheik have faced already.
That's what I thought too. That's why I decided to look it up.
And their opponents at a combined weight of 522 pounds. From Kyoto, Japan, Tojo Yamamoto, and from Tehran, Iran, the Iron Sheik.
In a Legends Tag Team division stacked with talent, perhaps the Iron Sheik and Tojo Yamamoto may not rank as highly as some of their competitors, but they are consistent winners, and a win here over Graham and Ventura is going to raise their stock for sure.
I've always felt, Don, that Tojo and Shiki, baby, don't get a fair shake. But again, like you said, there's a lot of talent in the Legends Tag division.
Graham and Ventura have a little edge in size and power, and that may be enough to pull them through to a win. And most people are expecting that. But don't ever sell Tojo and the Sheik short, because they're not only equally experienced, but like their opponents, they're not above a little rule bending, or out and out, taking a dump on the rule book when they have to.
That's true, Christy. We've seen them do it a number of times, and we may see them do it tonight. It's going to be Superstar Graham and Tojo starting off this Legends Division tag. Referee Willie Johnson sounds the bell. Here we go. A jab from Graham to Tojo, a kick to the midsection from Tojo to Graham. Graham set up, whoa, a knee right to the head from Tojo. Rebound off the ropes, a failed attempt at a moonsault. Graham back up to a standing position. Locks up, Tojo delivers a forearm, locks him up again. Tojo with elbows to the midsection to Graham. The Superstar backed off, a knee right to the chin of Superstar Billy Graham. There's a stomp to the leg from Tojo Yamamoto. Tojo gathers Graham back up. Hard whip over the top rope, out onto the apron. Graham counters with a forearm, gets himself back inside the ring. Tojo locks him up immediately. Drives a series of knees into Graham's midsection. Graham quickly back up, catches another knee, a right, a kick, and whoa, a spin kick that dropped him like a bad habit. Tojo Yamamoto steps out. Here comes the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik catches the shot to the midsection from Graham. Graham tries to escort Sheik to the corner, but no dice. More elbows to the midsection from the Iron Sheik. An uppercut puts Graham in the corner. A hard right follows it up. The Iron Sheik with a kick to the calf draped over the rope. The Superstar Graham. Sheik with another hard forearm. The Iron Sheik, whoa, look at that suplex. Dropping Graham's center ring. Here's another tag to Tojo Yamamoto. This team operates at peak efficiency at all times. Tojo Yamamoto going to start going to work on Superstar Graham, keeping him down on the mat, keeping him off his vertical base, and working strategically on both arms of Superstar Billy Graham. Tojo follows that up with a pair of knees into Graham's back. Tojo Yamamoto. Look at this, absolutely relentless. He's going to do it again. Graham drops center ring one more time as Tojo Yamamoto resumes work on the opposite arm this time. And again, a pair of knees into the back of Superstar Billy Graham. Tojo rounds Graham back up. Graham counters with a series of elbows, backs Tojo off. And Graham with a decided size advantage, finding himself outclassed by Tojo Yamamoto. Tojo locks him up over the shoulders. Look at the power of Tojo. A discus punch from the fireman's carry position, and here comes the Iron Sheik again. Graham looking for the exit on the freeway, and there it is. Here comes Jesse the Body Ventura for the first time in this matchup. He locks up with the Iron Sheik, loving overhand right, takes the Sheik down to one knee, follows it up with another one and gets him all the way down the canvas. Graham watching as Jesse Ventura snaps the arm on the Iron Sheik. Ventura gathers the Iron Sheik back up, locks him up. Finally succeeds in getting him to, wait a minute, he changed his mind about going to the corner. Either that or the Iron Sheik's resisting. There's some elbows to the midsection to Ventura. Iron Sheik quickly taking him down to the canvas as the Iron Sheik turns it over to Tojo Yamamoto. Ventura catches a knee. Rebound off the middle rope, and what a kick. Taking Ventura down to the mat. Rebound off the middle rope, and a cross body across the back of Jesse Ventura, who is really starting to look completely ineffectual here. Tojo with a big dive and an elbow across the back. So Jesse Ventura follows that up with a stomp to the leg and quickly turns it over again to the Iron Sheik, who goes right back to work on a downed Jesse Ventura. Winds up the arm, snaps it. Jesse Ventura laid out center ring. Knuckles to the side of the temple from the Iron Sheik to Ventura. The Grand Wizard of Wrestling got to be a little concerned at this point. Wouldn't be surprised to see him intercede on behalf of his team. Ventura, caught by the scruff of the neck, smashed head first into the turnbuckle, quickly gets himself out of there. There's a throat chop to the Iron Sheik. Ventura with an elbow to the shoulder. A clubbing overhand right puts the Sheik down center ring. The Sheik counters with an elbow to Ventura and an uppercut. Look at this, one arm suplex, and he went loop-de-loop. Ventura catches another arm snap from the Iron Sheik. Here's a cover and a hook of the right. 1, 2. On near fall. But Jesse Ventura kicking out of the pin. The Iron Sheik delivers a stomp and a knee right across the throat of Jesse Ventura. A hard right, a kick to the midsection, and a chicken wing suplex from the Iron Sheik. Jesse Ventura counters with a kick quickly, gets himself back up. There's a throat chop to the Iron Sheik and a hard right hand, taking the Sheik down. Here comes Superstar Billy Graham on the tag. Iron Sheik back to a standing position. Graham right there, whips him into the corner. Drapes the leg over the middle rope, delivers a kick to the calf. Jesse Ventura watching as Superstar Graham delivers a snapmare and a chop across the back of the Iron Sheik and a kick to the chest. Graham appears to have had enough. He's going to turn it over to Jesse Ventura, who is clearly anticipating getting back inside the ring. Ventura rebounds off the ropes, drops the leg across the throat of the Iron Sheik. And now into a shoulder claw. Jesse Ventura, squeezing for all he's worth, slams the Iron Sheik down to the canvas. And just like that, he's turning it back over to Superstar Billy Graham as the Iron Sheik tries to crawl his way out of danger. And he's moving kind of slow. Superstar Graham taking his time about things, and unfortunately, here comes Tojo Yamamoto. Perhaps he waited a little bit too long. Up over the shoulder, but a quick counter into a DDT, dropping Graham right on his crown. Wrist clutch stomps to the chest from Tojo Yamamoto. Tojo again resuming work on the arms of Superstar Billy Graham with a set of wrist clutch kicks, gets him down to the canvas. And one more time, stretching both arms, and follows that up with a pair of knees to the back. The Grand Wizard standing motionless. He has got to be genuinely concerned at this point. Running forearms from Tojo Yamamoto puts Graham into the corner. And now a set of driving knees into the midsection. Superstar Graham seated into the corner on the wrong side of town, and look at this. Tojo Yamamoto putting those feet to work, rebounds up the ropes, and there's a face wash to Superstar Billy Graham. Tojo with the cover. 1. Not even a 2. Jesse Ventura right there to break up the pin. And Tojo gets a hold of Ventura. He's determined to make him pay. Has him up over the shoulders, but look at this. Ventura counters, slams Tojo the back of the head into the canvas. The referee, Willie Johnson, urging Ventura to get out of there, but too late. Tojo gets a hold of him. Superstar Graham trying to intercede on behalf of his partner. Ventura winds up the arm on Tojo, smashes the elbow into the shoulder. Superstar Graham catches it, shot to the midsection, and a running spear from Tojo Yamamoto. And here's another cover. 1, 2. Another near fall. Tojo off the middle ropes, fails to connect with the crossbody. Superstar Graham steps out of the way just in time. Hard right hand takes Tojo down. Tojo quickly back up, and here comes Jesse Ventura again. Tojo charges, drives a knee into the head of Jesse Ventura. Turns it back over to the Iron Sheik on the tag. Ventura standing center ring waiting for him. A hard right, another, a chop across the chest, and a standing drop kick. Takes Ventura down to the canvas. The Iron Sheik drives a knee into the arm of Jesse Ventura, follows that up with a kick to the back of the head. Now a reverse dragon sleeper. Referee Willie Johnson checking on Jesse Ventura as Superstar Graham and Tojo Yamamoto get into it. The Iron Sheik releases the hold on Ventura. Winds him up, look at this. Stretching the leg, drives an elbow into the leg of Jesse Ventura. Here's another cover. 1, 2. I don't believe it. And yet another near fall in this rather intense Legends Division Tag Team matchup. Here we go. Iron Sheik turning Ventura over. He is setting up, calling for the camel clutch. And Ventura caught center ring. No Superstar Graham to help him. He's stuck. He is tapping out. That is it. The Sheik and Tojo Yamamoto picking up the win by submission. Let's turn it over to Aria Mitchell for the official time.
Here's the time, 9 minutes and 23 seconds. Your winners by tap out, the Iron Sheik and Tojo Yamamoto.
There's no denying it was rough sailing for the Iron Sheik and Tojo Yamamoto against Graham and Ventura, but as you see right there, they are the ones getting their hands raised in victory. They are the ones with the W. And oh man, the Iron Sheik scoring the tap out with the camel clutch on Jesse the Body Ventura with Superstar Billy Graham laid out on the outside. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll return right after the break with more RWL Rage. Stay with us.
Alright fans, welcome back. We're going to close out the first hour with a three-way match not to be missed. The Cocoa Beach Wonderkin Tommy Wilcox, the Lightning Fast Tony Dangerous, and the Puerto Rican mass sensation El Gigante. 3 men, 1 fall. Let's see how it all goes.
And the winner of this three-way match will face Gary Galaxy for the Cruiserweight Championship at Halloween Brawl.
This next three-way match, scheduled for 1 fall with a 15-minute time limit. Coming down the aisle from Statinopolis, weighing 196 pounds, the lightning fast Tony Dangerous.
Now in a triple threat match, you got a whole different dynamic. You got 3 opponents, only 1 fall, no disqualifications of course. That's a big plus. But Tony Dangerous is still favored to be the one that wins this triple threat match and goes on to face Gary Galaxy at the Halloween Brawl.
Heavily favored and a long-time rival of the reigning Cruiserweight champions, Gary Galaxy of the Stronghold. And they have gone at it numerous times, and they may be going at it again next week at Halloween Brawl.
Also, from Cocoa Beach, Florida, weighing 198 pounds, Rage Tag Team Champion, Tommy Wilcox.
Well, just a little bit ago, we saw Oliver Hollywood pick up a win over Wes Lee in single competition. And now his tag team partner, the Bad Orange Man, the Cocoa Beach Wonderkind, Tommy Wilcox, in this three-way dance with Tony Dangerous and El Gigante. And he could be a spoiler. While Tony Dangerous is heavily favored, the fact remains, Wilcox and Hollywood, whether it's singles or tags, have been remarkably successful of late.
Wilcox hasn't competed against Tony Dangerous too often, and there's going to be a lot of fast-moving, high-flying action here. Plus, the masked Boricua thrown into the mix, and no matter who ends up with the win, and the chance to face Gary Galaxy next week, this should be a memorable cruiserweight clash, leading up to the title match at Halloween Brawl.
I think I put together a pretty good one, Christy. What do you think? Can I cook or what?
And from Loaiza, Puerto Rico, weighing 204 pounds, El Gigante.
El Gigante, sporting another one of those wild and out-there entrance masks, based on the Puerto Rican tribe of his bloodline. And just, wow, this one's one of the most unique. You can see where a tribe of men in masks like that could easily scare the hell out of unwelcome visitors. He's not only intimidating with it on either, because once it comes off, he's still a fast competitor who loves to go air. He's the dark horse in this three-way match. but that doesn't mean he couldn't pull an upset over Wilcox and Tony Dangerous. Yes, Myron, you can cook, honey. Can't wait to see who gets the W in this one.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Ogilvy. That's appreciated.
Indeed, an exciting three-way matchup to close out the first hour of tonight's RWL Rage. Well, as you mentioned at the outset, Myron, 3 men, 1 fall, 15 minutes, no disqualifications, and 3 fast high flyers in this first hour closer. Referee Tom Canamura sounds the bell. Tony Dangerous and Elva Gigante lock up. A snapmare from Tony. A drop kick to the side of the head of Elva Gigante. Tommy Wilcox intercedes, cuts in on the dance, drives him into the referee. Gets a hold of Tony. Tony with a noggin knocker on both of them. Oh, wow, look at this, and a crossbody, which impacts both, but doesn't take either one down. Tony Dangerous taking down Elva Gigante. Off the top rope goes Wilcox with a fail. Look at this. Wheelbarrow DDT from Elva Gigante to Tony Dangerous. Wilcox whipped to the ropes by Elva Gigante. Tony Dangerous with a beautiful tilt-a-whirl Hurricane Rana on Elva Gigante. The masked Puerto Rican sensation takes Tony to the far left corner, smashes his head into the buckle. Tommy Wilcox coming back into the mix. Elva Gigante with a series of chops and kicks. Look at this. Whoa, underhook backbreaker from Elva Gigante. Tony Dangerous walking the rope. That was amazing. A beautiful drop kick. Tony Dangerous takes down Wilcox. Elva Gigante catches a right from Tony. Elva Gigante on the ropes as Tony Dangerous slams Tommy Wilcox to the canvas. Wilcox locks up with Tony, whips him to the corner. Tony Dangerous with another DDT on Elva Gigante. A double boot stomp to the midsection. Tony Dangerous firing on all cylinders here. A clothesline from Wilcox to Elva Gigante. Tony Dangerous goes to work on Wilcox. Wilcox delivers a shot to the midsection, locks it up with Tony Dangerous. Elva Gigante on the outside. And a fisherman suplex with a pin. 1. Only just a 1. The lightning fast one kicks out of the pin. A rolling elbow from Wilcox to Tony. A stomp to the shoulder from Wilcox to Tony Dangerous. Wilcox taken down on the outside. Elva Gigante swinging a chair. And Wilcox drives a knee into his midsection. Tony Dangerous with an inverted DDT on Wilcox. Tony Dangerous caught between Wilcox and Elva Gigante. The Gigante drives a knee into the head of Wilcox. Goes after Tony, drives him into the ring steps. Tommy Wilcox swings and misses with a right. Still going after Elva Gigante persistently. Gets a hold of him, drives him into the ring steps in turn. Tony Dangerous and Elva Gigante both laid out. Tommy Wilcox standing tall here. How about this? Wilcox locks up with Elva Gigante. Gets him back inside the ring. Pulls himself. Everybody's back in the ring now. Tony Dangerous locked up by Wilcox. Head first into the turnbuckle. A drop kick to Wilcox from Elva Gigante. A right to Tony Dangerous, and down he goes. Off the middle rope, a drop kick to Wilcox from Elva Gigante. Elva Gigante going for the pin, but Tony Dangerous right there to break it up. Tony locks it up with the Gigante. Takes him towards the ropes. Tommy Wilcox charges, misses with his attack. Tony Dangerous choking Elva Gigante with the top rope. Wilcox with a clothesline takes Tony down to the mat. Wilcox locks it up with the Gigante. The Gigante quickly counters, locks it up with Wilcox. Whips him towards the far right corner. Tony Dangerous laid out on the outside. Elva Gigante gonna go out after Tony Dangerous here, urging him to bring it. Tony locks it up with the Gigante. And there it is, the whirligig. And Elva Gigante goes for a ride. Tommy Wilcox biding his time on the inside. Decides to join the fray on the outside. Head first into the lip of the apron goes Tony Dangerous. A Hurricane Rana from the Gigante to Wilcox. Tony Dangerous locks it up with the Gigante. Gets him back inside the ring. Whoa! A running bulldog from Tommy Wilcox to Tony Dangerous. Wilcox going under the ring for a little something extra. Comes out with a kendo stick. Tony Dangerous quickly disarms his opponent. A series of kicks. Wilcox locks it up with Tony. El Gigante. Look at that. Another noggin knocker. Another meeting of the minds from Tony Dangerous to his two opponents. Tony rolls Wilcox back inside the ring. Wheelbarrow DDT to Tony from El Gigante, the Puerto Rican mass sensation. Just misses the high-risk maneuver from Tommy Wilcox, who crashes and burns on that one. Kick to the midsection to Tony. Facebuster out there on the floor. No countouts, no disqualification. All the referee can do is watch. El Gigante gets Tommy Wilcox back inside the ring. Tony Dangerous goes behind, gets Gigante back inside the ring. Wilcox with a rolling elbow to the back of El Gigante. Tony Dangerous biding his time on the outside, gathers up a kendo stick, brings himself back into the mix. Tony Dangerous cracks the head of Tommy Wilcox, the midsection of El Gigante. And now Tony Dangerous standing tall against two opponents here. The Gigante counters, escapes the corner, locks it up with Tony. Escorts him towards the ropes. Tommy Wilcox playing to the fans here. Tony Dangerous whips Gigante to the rope. Look at the beautiful evasion here on a drop kick to Tony from Gigante with a kip up. Wilcox with a right to El Gigante. Tony Dangerous rolls to the outside. Fireman's carry to El Gigante from Wilcox. Hung up on the top rope goes El Gigante. Tommy Wilcox going for a cover here. One. But just a one, says referee Tom Katamura. Tony Dangerous coming to his senses on the outside as Tommy Wilcox rebounds off the ropes, drops a leg across the throat of El Gigante. Wilcox rounds up El Gigante, rebounds off the ropes, elbow to El Gigante, taking him down. Tony Dangerous arms with another kendo stick, but breaks up the pit, and we just lost the referee. He is out to lunch. Facebuster to Wilcox from Tony Dangerous. El Gigante with a series of kicks to Tony. Sets him up. Inverted Russian leg sweep, face first into the canvas. El Gigante, armed with a kendo stick, goes to work on the lightning fast one. Wilcox with a steel chair. Tony Dangerous gets his head cracked by the kendo stick. El Gigante pitches the stick towards Wilcox, and finally the referee coming back around here. Wilcox puts on the brakes. Tony Dangerous in a seated position, and he is stunned. That kendo stick must have made quite a mark. Knee to the midsection of the Gigante. Wilcox covers again. One. Only a one. Tony Dangerous rounds up Wilcox quickly. Pitches him into the far right corner. Sets him up on the top turnbuckle. El Gigante on the outside, momentarily stunned. Tony Dangerous setting it up here from the top rope. Wheelbarrow DDT. El Gigante with a kick to the head of the lightning fast one as he rolls to the outside. El Gigante gathers up the chair and proceeds to waylay on Tommy Wilcox, the Cocoa Beach Wonderkin, catching all kinds of beatings over here. El Gigante with an arm drag on Wilcox. Tony Dangerous just coming around here. El Gigante sets it up. Here's a pin. One. But no. Tommy Wilcox powers out. Tony Dangerous takes his time about getting back inside the ring, goes under the ring for something else. Here we go, another kendo stick. El Gigante gathers up Wilcox. Wilcox puts on the brakes and a leg sweep takes down El Gigante. Wilcox with a couple of rights to Tony Dangerous, a left, and a beautiful suplex. The Cocoa Beach Wonderkind rounds up the kendo stick and goes to work on Tony Dangerous again. Quickly goes for the cover. He thinks he's got it. One, two. Another near fall in this three-way matchup. El Gigante with a tilt-a-whirl into an armbar. Tony Dangerous laid out. Wilcox escapes El Gigante's hold. Rolls him up for a pin, but no good. Wilcox rolling up Tony Dangerous. Look at this. A gut-wrench powerbomb. And here's a cover. But nope, we lost the referee a second time. So much for Tom Katamura's lucky streak. Up over the shoulders goes Wilcox. El Gigante got him. Death Valley driver from the Puerto Rican mass sensation. Tony Dangerous back up to a standing position. Disarms El Gigante. A kick to the midsection. Winds up the arm. Tony Dangerous takes him for a walk. Off the top rope, Japanese arm drag from the lightning fast one. Tommy Wilcox stunned on the outside. The referee still out to lunch here. Hard forearm to Vejigante from Tony Dangerous. Wilcox makes his way back inside the ring as the referee begins to regain consciousness. Wilcox, armed with a chair, pitches the chair head first into Tony Dangerous. There's a kick to the midsection. Wilcox puts on the brakes. Here's a kick. Here's a different rebound off the ropes. A knee to the head, another rebound, and a clothesline takes Tony down. El Vejigante is non-compass mentis as Wilcox goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and this one is all over. Tommy Wilcox picking up the win by pinfall.
Here's the time, 9 minutes and 52 seconds. Your winner, Tommy Wilcox.
Tony Dangerous may have been the favorite to win this three-way dance, but take a look, the Cocoa Beach Wonderkin, not unlike his tag team partner Oliver Hollywood, picking up a win here, and he will be facing the prototype Gary Galaxy next week at Halloween Brawl for the RWL Cruiserweight Championship, and there you see it. He got the pinfall on Tony Dangerous as El Vejigante was powerless to do anything. We'll be back with the second half right after the break.